Hmm. All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday evening, and I think this was our first week with the exercises for chapter one. So, I have a funny story. Uh, Last Monday, when we had this meeting, I made a decision that I'll be doing this exercise when I go to class. And that day in the morning, I had a class which I didn't attend, and I was feeling guilty about it. I was like, oh, I was just, feeling just pushing myself too hard for not attending the class. And then the next morning, I woke up to go to the other class, and then I realized that this was a spring break week. There were no classes throughout the whole week, and I didn't even know, and I didn't even remember. Like, okay,
I
change
think
of
that's a
plans.
brilliant check of brilliant selection of exercises. Do it when you just uh, remember what Nishant said. It's always the chair's fault.
But I thought this would be one of the excuses that I can add to my list. But then I decided to switch gears and uh, I did other things throughout the week as a part of the exercise since I couldn't go to classes. So there, there you
So
go.
Bhavani was not here last week. Who would like to,
Hey, Bhavni,
or maybe the group
Hi.
can explain to her
good to
what
see you.
what we're doing nowadays?
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been able to make it
Yeah.
evenings. Hmm.
I find it amazing that you can may ever come with kids. So thank you for taking the extra time.
I
What will-
heard Nikhil mention about the exercise. Do you mind just briefing me about it?
Yeah. So since we started with practical work on self, we have decided to do this one a little bit differently, where we will, for every chapter, we will spend 2 weeks per chapter minimum. The first week would be where you spend time by yourself, read the chapter by yourself, and then come to this meeting to discuss anything that was interesting to you or anything that you wanted to discuss. We don't read it in the meeting. We just discuss what we thought was interesting for the first week. And
and
then for the,
no. So
yeah, go ahead.
we read the chapter and on our own, right? Then we come together, we read the chapter to try to understand it, but then we come together to see did we understand it? And we share that with others. And then there was another part of that first week.
Interesting. Hmm.
What's that?
I'm saying that's interesting. Yeah.
So you read the chapter and then oh yeah, did here's my understanding of it. And then I am going to fascinating, just fascinating. Then I am
Do you
going
do you want me to
to,
continue? Continue from
well,
there?
I don't want you to go to week two though. You weren't ready to go to week two.
Yeah, I was.
Week one was you read the chapter on your own. Then so you come to the class with the chapter already read. And to help to get clarification, understanding, whatever you need from the group, and how you propose to do the exercise. Remember that part? So you
I
read
was,
the chapter.
I was asleep at that part because I didn't, no, I didn't acknowledge that. So in reality, I was asking myself, how do we go on? Because I started to read the second chapter, but I think there is work to do in the first one still.
Let's
Yeah.
let's continue
And
to understand it, and then once we understand it, this is what's the title of the book again? And
practical work on self.
practical work on self. So that means to come up with practical exercises, right?
Hmm.
Does that make any sense to anybody?
Well, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's okay. I mean, this take as long as we need to, but once we get started, it'll be really nice. So,
Yeah. This format is definitely very different from uh, the what we have been doing so far. So
correct.
this is an interesting experience.
You're a little
Yes,
bit more on your
yes,
For
own.
this, right.
yes.
For this group, for this book, the a group has to like shift a little bit, I think, the way this book approaches group work.
So go ahead, Alka, please.
So I think a couple of things the first day, so the exercise that I had undertaken, Bhavani, last time we decided that we are going to take one exercise, one thing in our day-to-day life, which we normally do, and we are going to do it with the perspective of what the first chapter had to offer to us, which was one thing that it clearly said is that you notice your posture. Bring attention to your posture and see where the weight is being divided, and if one part of the body is gaining extra weight, and just observing the body, the machine, from the perspective of posture, because and giving more attention to it. So I had chosen the refining exercises to do that, but I was able to do it for the first 2 days, and then I was not able to do it, but I kept bringing in the idea of the posture and noticing the breath and how the body weight is divided at different points in time during other exercises other than the designated one. Another thing that Bernie had asked last time was that maybe we should read this again and come up with our favorite sentences from the chapter. So yeah, I reread the
Hmm.
chapter last night in order to see if my earlier favorite line is still my favorite line. So my earlier favorite line was that nature is not afraid of ordinary efforts, and I could certainly see myself seep into less than ordinary efforts last week. So this time, when I read the book again, the lines kind of shifted to force of will, exerting
Mm.
force of will to allowing that experience to allowing extra efforts for attention and intention for awakening. So the focus shifted. Definitely, I found myself at a low this week and I was not really being able to, but yes, bringing attention back on the body, repeatedly bringing it back from whatever dungeons I was going into. I tried it. I wouldn't say I was extremely successful or very successful, but it was not a drastic shift since I started reading the chapter. But yeah, I was still rooted.
That's great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Alka.
So the chapter mentions basically a few things. It mentions about four. What are those four levels? So one is this horizontal sleep. Then there's the standing sleep. Then there is awakening, and then there is consciousness. So the chapter said that in the first two levels are ordinarily accessible to everyone. It is for the third level that you go to a school and you start putting those efforts. Then it spoke about the force of attention and the force of will. The will of attention and the will of awakening the machine. These are the two tools that we have at the beginning of the work. And in the later part, it spoke about something that's skipping my mind at the moment. But at the later part, it spoke about what, Nikhil? You remember it?
Uh, is there anything specific that you're referring to? I think at the end of
So
the
you had mentioned
chapter,
that the
it talked
chapter
about,
is. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I think the later part of the chapter is talking about the head brain and the tail brain and how the
Yes.
mechanism works and how you place your attention on the moving centrum.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it talks about that.
So head brain is the is the original way of how humans in this day and age are using it, and tail brain mechanism was actually the mechanism, the actual brain that intuitive humans in non-civilized area or awakened areas used to use, which is more intuitive, more real emotion based, and uh, uh, more more controlled for the evolution of for aware beings. So tail brain application, and how do we switch this normal ordinary head brain function, how we flip it through awareness, is was also discussed in the second part of the
Mm.
chapter.
So, I have a question. Is is the head brain same as the prefrontal cortex of the brain?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. And it's not only it's dominant. It is
Hmm.
many times addressed as the dominant, lineal,
Yeah.
sequential, verbal. We think with words,
Associative thinking.
associative thinking. But it's not bad. It's the brain that's
Very
help.
useful. Very useful.
Yes,
Yeah.
very. There's no negativity in it. But when it has taken all of us or the machine, that's unbalanced.
Hmm.
Um, I tend to when I read, I tend to write mark, not write. Yes, mark lines and put la fecha is the day or the month or the year, no, mostly. Um, and I see that I've read this many times. Um, a point that is, I think, very, very important, at least for me, because we forget it, and I forget it a lot of times, is the importance, I marked it there, the importance of not changing the manifestations of the machine as a result of our observations. Because we are very programmed to improve ourselves, not change our habits and not be good or be the change. But when we do that, we are not impartial and observing, and so we have to. I think we have to be aware of that kind of attention and observation of the machine.
Hmm.
Because we are told from the not to be good, not to be bad, not to be dirty, not to have bad thoughts, whatever, not to fiddle, yeah, wow, 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 wow. But at least we have to think. We have to. There are a lot of we have to. We have to.
And that's that would be an example of mechanical thinking.
Yes,
I have to behave in a certain way.
yes,
I have to say the right thing. That would be a form of observation.
yes. Even at the point that I am saying, when I saying, it's I have a great paradox because I have to, I have not to, I have to observe impartially. Are all commands. Continually, we are in service of some commands, some words that are father, mother, uncles, society, authority. That is not bad, but they are there. No, we have to know that they are finally a voice in the machine.
So,
Okay.
but turn to, and Bernie, do you have the English edition too, or just the?
No, but I
Yeah, but
can manage.
the page numbers are very different in the Spanish. Go
Yes,
to
yes.
page number 8,
Mm.
and that would be cuando llegamos a trabajo en primera vez.
Okay.
No, I mean it's
Mhm. I think I'm on page 8.
8. Yeah, this
I'll
is
just see
go
if you
toward,
have this.
make it a little bit smaller and go to the bottom. Normalmente, I'm looking. Looking for the paragraph that says, para dispar la máquina. They really changed it quite a bit.
Can you maybe you can read that and maybe I'll just look it up and
Yeah, no,
see
no,
if that
no.
exists here.
No, I'm looking for the, I'm trying to get the, I'm trying to get the,
The yogi has learned, yes,
yeah,
the
yeah,
yogi,
right after that. Okay, the next paragraph.
even the
Go,
machine asleep can be used for overcome its own
pero
dream.
qué página ese?
I have it in the 8, but this is a copy. It's a
Oh,
copy.
okay. Okay, well, let's just read here.
Hmm.
So the theory of this chapter is that we are embodied and encapsulated in a sleeping machine.
Hmm.
Even a sleeping machine can be used to overcome its own sleep because it has sensations. We can use these sensations to sense the sleep of the machine. This disarmingly simple idea can be performed as an experiment in which we try to use the sensations of the machine to sense the sleep of the machine. And from this experiment, we can see for ourselves in our own experience several important factors. So, do we understand that paragraph a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
The next sentence, we're trying to figure out, we're trying to understand that the machine is really asleep, not just human biological machines in general, but that our machine in particular is asleep. Do you understand the difference here? Can you gather data to see that your machine is asleep? It's invaluable data. It's stunningly important. We're blocked from obtaining the data because of guilt, shame, all those things. I'm not supposed to be asleep, da 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 da. But I guarantee you, if you start observing your sleep without trying to awaken the machine, a little light goes on inside that stays on forever. Okay? That we are trying to determine that it is possible to see, even to taste a little, what life can be when the machine is not asleep. We've talked about the sensations of feeling the awakened machine, right?
Mhm.
Only by exact and unusual method is it possible to awaken the machine for any length of time. That's the whole book we just finished reading, right? Invocation of Presence. Remember that book
Yes.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
I
Why?
have a
Oh,
question.
sure. Yeah, Alka.
When we try to gather these evidence or evidences, it's mostly about forgetfulness for me. That, for example, the classic burning the milk pan is a very clear example that happened last week as well. I collected it as an evidence. Another one was I wanted to use something at a particular, I was out of my house, staying at a property for an event, and I wanted to carry something, uh, and I was like, shit, I should have carried that thing. But when I came back and I was unpacking, I realized I had carried that thing, in fact, and I never used it. Right. So my evidences are mostly about things skipping out of my head. What other kinds of evidences are there?
So that's called circumstantial evidence that your machine was asleep.
Yeah.
One part of your brain would go, "Oh my God, I got to carry this. I should bring it. And then you get involved in everything, and you go, I did bring it."
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be what's called circumstantial evidence of sleep. I would say a good one would be, so, and let's just go on here. Go a couple pages to page, hang on, page 16. It's several pages, burning, and it starts with, it'd be the very first exercise, or la primera, here we go, doing this stuff. Entonces, okay, it'd be,
I think I have it here on
yeah,
screen.
the very
Yes.
first exercise, see it, Bernie?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, there we go. El primer 37 in the Spanish book, the regular.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the very first exercise in a work community is the observation of moving activities of the machine with the ordinary attention of the head brain. This observation should be refined even to the smallest detail, making certain not to alter the manifestations. Okay.
Yes.
Like, how many people here wear glasses? Just the old guys? Me and Bernie?
Yes.
Maybe.
I do sometimes. I have reading glasses.
Yeah. And when you wear glasses, like you're going like this, you're shifting, you notice, you push them back, you take them off, put them on. So there's a whole ceremony, and just watching it as a ritual is interesting, isn't it? Okay. Then let's see here. Okay.
When you smoke, you light your cigar, and with your glasses you clean them, and you do that absolutely mechanical. You're you're there, and you're not there. No.
That's exactly right. In one of the other classes is somebody who smokes, and she smokes in the class, on the Zoom. And it's like this whole ritual she goes through.
I quit a lot of cigars, but I I take the pen and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
See, that would be an example of a mechanical motion.
yes,
And if
yes,
you watch yourself
Mhm.
do that, and suddenly the pen is in your mouth and you're chewing on it.
yes, yes.
How did it even get there? Go to page 19. And it's in short.
Sí, yes. Pocas palabras.
For me, my mechanical motion would be you crack my knuckles, I don't know, keep out of habit. I
That
keep
would be the
doing
kind of
them
thing in a
and
group committee, a group environment. You'd just be hammered for that.
and then, if I have a pen, I'll just keep, doing something with.
So that's like a perfect thing to watch. Attempt not to change it. So go to page 19. In short, use the usual form of attention, but in this case, the subject of attention is now exclusively the posture and movements. And that's what you were saying, Alka, right?
Yeah, I was wanting to know other things that could serve as evidences, but yes, this involuntary body movements is the second thing. Uh, and the third is sometimes I get intuitive hints when I'm proofreading, especially, you know, or proofreading or doing something at
Yeah.
work. I get these very mild, subtle hints of where I need to put my attention. And at that point in time, I don't even realize it. It's only later when things have gone wrong, I realize that, oh, I had an intuition about putting this thing in this way. Uh,
So a good example of something does anybody here own a car? A lot of people have. Do people have
I
cars?
used to, yeah.
You don't
Mhm.
anymore though. Okay, so
No, I don't. I stopped driving.
yeah. And I know that Bhavani has a car with all those kids. And
But yeah, there is a car in the house, so if it is related to driving, I would be able to associate with it.
okay, so one of the most mechanical things regarding a car is opening the car with your little bob, the little fob thing you have that sends an electric on
Mhm.
the old door goes, eh, and then you can get in. And then when you get out, locking it. Now, the thing that's exciting is that let's say you get there just in time and you're just a teeny bit late. You gather your things, you start walking, and then maybe you click it behind you or something like that. But the exercise is watching how your machine does that. I know it's like not dramatic, it's fascinating to watch the machine. That's all I'm saying. Just fascinating to watch this thing work. Nishant, do you have to wear a tie?
Sometimes.
It was the first when I was doing this exercise many years ago, when I used to wear a tie to work. And you put the tie on and then you tie it. And it's such an interesting, complex set of motions. In a certain way, you can't do it yourself, but the hands just do it.
Hmm.
And that's when you can start to have adoration of the machine. Thank you. So I think that, so the concept is, we actually have enough understanding to understand what EJ is pointing us to, but the real understanding comes from doing it. And do we have enough firepower, in a sense, to suggest how you might do it this coming week? Do you have classes this week, Nikhil?
I do, yes.
All right. So that's an interesting thing, because you're transiting from your own little narrow world, right? And then suddenly you're in a classroom with a bunch of people. And so maybe watching yourself walk from the door to your desk. Just that, nothing else. There's nothing. Observe, like in the very last chapter, the paragraph of this book, of this chapter, beginning with the observation of the machine's posture as a whole, as if studying a statue, focusing first on the hands, the mass, the torso, arms, legs. Try to see the activities of the machine as a whole unit. For instance, observe your postures sitting at a table, writing in a notebook, walking through a cafe. Begin with the most obvious and observable postures for the moment until you are very skilled, and leave alone those delicate and subtle fluctuations.
In the most, the last part, not the last one, but near the last paragraph of the chapter, I noted the tension is only measurable in comparison with the relaxation. So I have tried in the week. I sense it. It's all the time there is tension in the jaws, in the feet, in where you sit, where you watch, and only when you relax, you have the possibility of seeing that difference between relaxation and tension. No?
Yeah.
I think even when we sleep, we are in tension. No?
Tensed, yeah.
Yes, it's normal because well, life has a lot of tension, and the modern life probably more, no? But anyway, the perfect relaxation is when you are dead. So yes, yes, yes. There you are.
So
But
yesterday sorry.
go on,
Sorry,
go
sorry.
on.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
sorry. Please, please.
no. But I have finished, Alka. Please go on.
Okay. So yesterday I was lying down and I was really sad that I was not practicing this exercise so well. And I would lie down and I just started. So so the line that says that you can use the sleeping machine can be used for turning back to senses. So whenever I'm completely dead, I tried to bring my attention on my hands and I connect with the sensation in the hands. Yesterday, when I lied down, I was observing the feeling that I am feeling because I have not given 100% to this exercise. And I realized there were certain blocks inside energetic. And the minute I kind of let loose, energy was flowing in a much better manner. All of a sudden, it was like a valve was open and I was able to be more like the energy was stuck at that particular point because of certain fear, and it then uh, became okay.
Okay.
So it's a good practice to when you lie down to just and it's I never used to do that. I would wait to just knock myself off to sleep, but just to let the just observe at least. I'm not talking about lucid dreaming or anything, but at least observe that the body has relaxed before you are able to sleep is a great
Yeah.
uh, exercise.
So, do you drink tea or coffee, Alka, or both?
Both
Like right now,
sparingly.
as the morning is starting, hang on, it's what time is it? It's
No, I
8:15.
don't usually drink something every day. I do it. It's not a everyday thing for me.
Okay, but it's 8:15 in the morning right now where you live.
Yes.
And do you think you'll have coffee? Are you already ready to go to work? You're gonna go get
No, I will get ready to go to work and I'll not have anything, neither tea nor coffee.
Okay. And then when you go to work, do you think you'll have coffee or tea there?
Depending on how I'm feeling. So coffee definitely wakes me up more, and tea is not that instant in not say waking up, but it just makes me more energetic. Coffee makes me more energetic, and tea is when I want to keep myself together and stay calm.
Okay. So let's say that later on in the day today, which is now Tuesday, you decide I'm gonna have coffee.
Yeah.
In a few hours, you go to do you make coffee or do you just buy it from
No, I make it.
you make it? So you go to the kitchen of the office and you begin the process, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you just observe that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time you're going to make coffee this week, it might be once, it might be 6 times.
Yeah. Okay.
Just observe the body. What is it doing? How do my hands work? What do I notice? Do I notice anything? You know, and it's just, what is what is my facial mask? What's my posture like? You
Yes, I
know,
do these things. Yes.
okay. So just, but focus on one little area.
Right. So I switched to doing the utensils instead of what I had already planned.
Okay.
How I have to drag myself to do it, and then how
Yeah.
am I doing it, and then yeah. So just I basically observe the posture and how I'm feeling, and if I'm able to deepen my attention in that moment.
There's kind of a hidden reason to do this exercise. And the hidden reason is that the essential attention, you're you're giving it credence. Does that make sense, that word?
The credence.
Yeah.
You're saying to the essential attention, I acknowledge you. I want you to watch that machine.
Yeah. Sure.
Now, there's no mystery in this, but you actually are placing golden nuggets of observation within the essential self that are there forever.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to suggest an exercise that's that simple that they might do this week?
Eating.
Want to,
Go ahead, Nishant.
yeah, I wanted to just go over this paragraph. Tension is measurable only by comparison with relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
If we lack the will to relax, No. If we let the will to relax the machine, we cannot use sensation to determine the exact tension required to maintain a posture. Relaxation and tension must become voluntary for any serious observation of the machine. So I just wanted to, share when Rajan was here, I think 2 years back, and he was getting ready to leave, the day of his flight back. So I asked him, you gave us all these so many different exercises. What are the top 5 exercises? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he said number 1 is tense relax.
Tense, relax, did you say?
Yeah, tense relax. So the way he teaches is you tense your muscles and relax them with attention.
Like wrench your hands and clench your wrists, and pull
Yeah,
your
and
hands
then
in other
relax
directions
with
as if
attention.
somebody's pulling you with both, like just stretching your whole body with a lot of force. Like stretch your hands completely, stretch your arms wide as if someone is pulling it from two sides. Make facial expressions, the entire body tensing and relaxing exercise.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the relaxation is with attention.
Attention.
Yeah. So
I
this is
I think I think both tension and relaxation is with attention. You you observe tension followed by relaxation, followed by tension, followed by relaxation, and you become aware of the cycle that it is.
when for me, the tension in my facial mask has become a trigger toward observation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hmm.
In other words, suddenly I'm noticing my scowling, I'm worried, and I can feel the muscles, and that goes, my essential self then immediately starts going, oh, interesting.
David, so interesting. It's in the line that I would like to share. Have you noticed, all of us, no? Have you noticed that there is a relation between attention, tension, and breathing? When somebody would say, pay attention, not breathe, your breath changes.
Yeah.
And there is a relation between the attention, the tension, and inspiring, mostly inspiring. And a very good exercise that I am working with is when you breathe out and stay a little bit. It helps you to relax, of course.
Those are very good breathing exercises. This is not a breathing exercise. This is to observe your machine. Okay.
Hmm.
This chapter is about us observing ourselves. Now, for me, I'm having a very hard time expressing that concept. Doesn't seem to be getting across. It has nothing to do with good, bad, anything. It just has to do with, can we come to an understanding of what observing your particular machine? EJ wants us to particular knowledge. It'll become universal.
Hmm.
I think David, and I think it was in 8 p.m. Was it in 8 p.m. they used the word the pugilistic? Like if something, you know, is a trigger, you go into that position, that posture, and if only if you are relaxed, you will sense that you are getting that position, that posture.
Good.
And once you know and then you relax, then you can get out of that conditioning or the loop or
Like,
the pattern.
go ahead and take the chapter down. Stop if you'd like to stop sharing. Yeah.
So, my son is 12 years old now, and since he
Wow.
was 3 or 4, he used to grab the pencil like, with a curled hand. I don't know how to explain it. Like
Yeah.
he would curl his hand and right. And I would always tell him that hold it like a brush, with 2 fingers and a thumb. And then he started going to school, and most of the time they use laptop now, so I don't even see them holding the pen. But the other day he had to do something on the paper, and he was writing, and he was again holding it in a curl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it got me so pissed off. I was so worked up. I was all tensed up. I said, all these years, I've been telling you to hold this way, and you still hold it this bad way. And I tell you, it took me almost 2 hours to calm myself down.
Yeah. Well,
And
you have a very strong, this is not a physical manifestation, but you have a strong emotional habit.
yeah, so that pattern got activated with
Yeah.
all, and the muscles got all stiff,
Yeah.
and it took me 2 hours just to be able to relax those muscles. But after that, something happened. I
Yes.
I feel light. I don't feel pissed off anymore with him holding that pencil like that anymore. So something did happen that day. I think this is what you were trying to explain.
Yes.
That pugilistic, that posture, that fight, that you know that muscle memory, that the memory pattern that has been established. The only way to dissolve it is if you can relax your muscles when that trigger is happening.
If you're really lucky, he'll pick up the pencil again like this.
Hmm.
And then you can observe yourself, Nishant, and go, wow, where am I now?
Yeah.
This, and a lot of the same things will come up. That's okay. But I guarantee you they won't have the stranglehold they had on you before.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It'll be a little like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it goes away. And eventually it's like this until it gets so small. It may never disappear. There may be karmic things that you have that are
Yeah.
there forever and ever and ever.
I'm able to relate with this because I was in a situation very similar where, just when I become so down and grumpy, I feel I directly put all the blame on my parents for being who I am, which is a weird, horrible thing to do. But this time my mom came and I hadn't spoken. I didn't step down for an entire day, and they're like, "How are you? What are you doing?" And I Usually in moments like that, I'll bring out all my childhood grudges and I'll bring out, you did this and you did that and all of that. But I found myself this time.
Try this simple ice hack with water before bed and watch your face and go from
That's you, Bernie. Turn your
No. Ah,
Oh.
no.
So this time I found myself sitting silently and her almost waiting for me to start spilling out things on her and in silence. And I was in silence, holding it within myself and saying, she's got nothing to do with how you're feeling right now. And we sat in silence like that, looking at each other's faces for about 15 minutes. It was such a big shift for me that I can't even explain.
You
That
know,
silence was so discomforting, but at the same time, it was so comfortable to see myself consciously telling myself that she's got nothing to do with it. Just do not get into that trap again. So, and then
it's
I
really
told her, just
funny.
give me some time. I'll be able to emerge fine out of this. It's just a matter of time. She went down and she said, my dad. This time I changed the game altogether and I behaved as if nothing is wrong. I was just talking to him absolutely in a normal way. So yes, so that distancing from those
All I
patterns
would
that,
say is that we have a great opportunity with our parents. Okay.
yeah.
My parents are dead, but I have stories still that they can prove that it's what they did that screwed me up so much. We take guidance from Nishant. Remember when we were talking about stubbing our toe on the chair, and he goes, "It's always the chair's fault."
Yes.
At this time I actually believe that she's got nothing to do, whatever you think she's being able to exert on you will completely vanish once you raise your frequency higher. And it was really, 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 I was almost proud of myself in that moment. And that even that urge to spill out was not that strong,
But it was there, but it didn't have you by the throat. Okay.
It was at a really off distance. It was not even close. It was like I was, the traces of it were somewhere there, but
Those are like shadows, but they're not important. But the key is what you did is that you shifted it somehow. And I had that with my father. My father was a very domineering man, and I was a small, sensitive, fairly, ignorant young boy, and he, so he dominated me. That's what he did. That was his life. That's how he operated. So, and but so what? It's like, for whatever reason, I mean, the whole thing with karma and being loaded by past lives, our families, we were born into these families, but at this moment, here we are together. Okay. This group of workers also, the ebbs and flows of karma brought this group together tonight, this morning, for each other. So take another week on this chapter, okay, and see if you can get a feeling for how to do a practical observation. The smaller your observation is, the more powerful its effect will be on you.
yeah, okay.
See what happens. It may or may not work, and then the following, and so this week we'll do that. Next week we will discuss, did we have practical insights into what we know about our machines? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
That sounds like a plan.
Swati, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you give me a number between 1 and 16?
Number 9.
9? I thought I'd begin tomorrow. That's my excuse for the week.
But
Man.
David, believe me, that is always me.
I'll get to it. Mañana.
Monday I will start. I think you all received the mantra, the daily mantra from Jay, no? This could be also another one, no? Instead of the mantra of the blessing. Okay.
Yeah. Daily
Thank you.
excuse from
Remember, one more quick thing. Remember,
Yes.
when you're doing this observation of this stupid little making coffee or using your car key, you think, oh, I want to do the real big work, right? You're doing these little things like this, but I guarantee you, you're actually not doing it for yourself. You're cutting a path of clarity so that there's room for the absolute to come through just a little teeny bit more. Okay? And others will go after us, and they'll notice we have cleared a path. None of this is linear, guys. It's good stuff, though.
The parting of the Red Sea.
All right.
Look forward to
Let's
seeing everybody
come next
soon.
week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds good.